Okay, we're gonna go over our pattern pieces. We have our back main and our back liner, our front mains and our front liners, our side panels, our two ruffles, our back bottom piece, and our front bottom piece. Okay, we're gonna start with our two front liners, and we're gonna place them right sides together. We're gonna pin on this little seam right here. And then we're gonna sew right there. Okay, now that we have our liner sewn, we're gonna do the same thing with our front main bodice pieces. We're gonna line up our little tiny tabs on this side. And we're gonna clip and clip. And then we're gonna sew down that little side. Okay, so now that we have this sewn, we're gonna open it up. Just like this. And we're gonna grab our back main piece and we're gonna pin our shoulders together. I'm just making sure everything's lining up. I'm gonna pin and pin. I'm gonna do the same thing to the other side. Make sure our shoulder seams line up. Or our shoulder edges, I guess I should say, because it's not a seam yet. But where our shoulder seam's gonna be. We're gonna clip. And clip. And clip. And now we're gonna sew down our shoulders. Okay, so now that we have our two shoulder seams sewn, we're gonna move that out of the way and we're gonna do the same thing with our lining. We're gonna open up our front lining. And we're gonna grab our back lining and we're gonna pin the shoulders. We're gonna do the same for the other side and pin our shoulders. And just make sure everything lines up as we clip it and pin it. And now we're gonna sew our two shoulder seams. Okay, so now that we have our liner done, we're gonna open it up like this in our neck. We're gonna do the same thing with our main, and we're gonna place them right sides together. And I'm gonna just match my seams up on my neck. And clip my seams. And I'm gonna find this middle seam for my front pieces and clip it as well. And my back piece in the center. I'm gonna clip. And then I can sew my neck opening. Okay, so now that I got my neck sewn, I flipped it right side out. I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna flip it out so that my liner and my main side of this side are up. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna roll my right side's main and liner into the center, just like this. And I'm gonna fold this over so that they're right sides together. And I'm gonna clip. This is called the burrito roll method. It's simple if you've done it before, but it can be a little bit challenging. You usually do it with tanks that are reversible or with no band. So now we're gonna sew down that sleeve seam. And so now that we have this sleeve seam done, we're gonna open it up. Right side's out again, and lay it flat. As you can see, that sleeve part is closed. So we're gonna do the same thing with this side. We're gonna make it so that our main and our liner are right side up on the right side. And we're gonna roll our left side into the middle. And then we're gonna line up our two sleeves, main and our liner on this side, on our right side, and we're gonna just clip. I'm gonna sew down this right side. Okay, so now that we have this open, I'm going to, sewn and closed. We're gonna open it up right sides out. We're gonna do the same thing that we just did. We're gonna open up our sleeves, our two main and our liners. We're just gonna fold them so that they are right sides together around the arm sky and down the side. Just like this, and we're gonna end it up just like that. And we're gonna do the same thing with this side. Making sure everything lines up. So now you kind of have a square, and your main front and back are touching, and your lining front and back are touching. We're gonna pin our sides. Here, we're gonna do the same thing on this side. Making sure that our main front and back are touching, and our liner front and back are touching. Here, and our seam. And we're gonna sew down our sides. Okay, so now that we have our bodice done, we're gonna open it, our sides done. We're gonna open it up. We've got our little sleeves here. Just making sure everything's all good. And now we have our bodice piece done. We're gonna move on to our bottom part of our dress. Now we're gonna take our bottom, front, middle piece, and we're gonna gather our two sides right here. Okay, so now that we have that gathered, we're gonna take our bodice, and you see where our corner point is here? We're gonna line that up right sides together with our point of our bottom skirt piece. And we're just gonna match everything up. And clip and make sure everything's lined up nice and perfect with our gathered piece. We're gonna do the same thing to this side. I always line up my middle and then my my bottom corners, or if there is only one bottom corner, the corner. And then I do my middles between those. So now we're gonna sew this down that side seam. So now that we have this sewn together, we can open it back up and you can see how it lays. So lays really good. Okay, we're gonna put this aside and we are gonna gather the top of our back bottom piece and the top of our 2 side panels right here, and we're just going to gather the tops of them. Okay, so now that we have it gathered, we're going to take our 2 side panels and we're going to pin them to each side of our back middle piece. Just making sure everything lines up nice and pretty. We're going to do the same thing to this side. We're going to pin right to the other side of our middle piece. And we're still just going to make sure everything lines up nice and pretty. And we're going to sew down those 2 edges. Okay, so now that we have these sewn together, we are going to take our bodice and our other skirt, and we're going to line up our edges with the edge of our bottom front middle piece all the way up to the gather. The gather should be on the seam. And I'm just going to make sure everything lines up nice and pretty. And then we're going to do the same thing for this other side. I'm going to just line up our sides and clip as we go. My gather is lined up with my side seam and with the seam of my right there. And then our middles. So now what we're going to do is we have 2 tick marks. Our 2 marks where our back middle should line up. So I'm going to find my mark right there, and I'm going to pin it and line up my seam with that mark. I'm going to do the same for this other side. I'm going to line up my seam with that mark. I'm going to put one in the middle. I'm going to do the same here. I'm going to put one right in the middle there. You may have to stretch your skirt, your top just a little bit to fit the skirt, but that's okay. And we're going to sew all the way around. Okay, so now that we have this all sewn on, nice and pretty, we can open it up so you guys can see what it looks like. So there's our front and there's our back. Okay, so now we're going to set this aside and we're going to finish our bottom ruffle. We're going to take our 2 ruffle pieces and we're going to place them right sides together and we're going to pin on these short sides. We're going to do the same thing on this side. And we're going to sew down our side seams. Okay, so now that we have our 2 side seams sewn, we're going to gather our top edge. Okay, so now that it's gathered, we are going to fold our bottom edge up 1/2 inch and clip all the way around. Some people prefer to hem before gathering. That's personal choice. I switch every single time. bottom ruffle hemmed, we're gonna take our bodice, we're gonna flip it raw so that it's wrong side out. I'm gonna find the middle of my 2 pink pieces, or my 2 side panels. I'm just gonna clip it because that's where I'm gonna clip my side seams of my ruffle. I'm gonna do the same thing on this side. I'm gonna find my middle and clip. So now that I have that, I'm gonna find my 2 side seams and I'm gonna place them right sides together with where those clips are and our bodice, or our skirt part, I guess it's not the bodice. I'm gonna do the same thing on this side. Seam lines up where I just clipped. Right sides together. And now I'm just gonna pin all the way around, or clip all the way around my ruffle. And I'm going to keep pinning, still just making sure that everything lines up nice and pretty. I'm going to sew our ruffle on. And there you have it, the Lacey dress all finished.